welcome back. In part 3 of the Prism tutorial actually takes us back to SharePoint. Inside of SharePoint is where you will actually upload the images. If you've already seen the website tutorials, you will need to go to images, but you gotta make sure you're going to the right images. Since this time we are going to the product images, which we'll go to in just a moment. The images you import have a certain naming that they need to follow. Your name for each picture needs to be the name of the product family. This is why we used an 8-digit number or some variation of that. Is a naming device that you follow so that each of your names will go to the correct picture. In this case, we named our example photo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, there are 2 images you need to make for one product. One is the tiny thumbnail. And the thumbnail needs to be, which it'll be tiny, this is the size of them. The thumbnail needs to be 115. That's what its width needs to be. The height does not matter, but the width has to be 115. You can have a size if you want everything to be concise, but the important thing that you must make sure is that the width is 115 for the thumbnail. So, back to the naming convention. You have your number, and then for the thumbnail, you have to have a T. Right here, there's a T at the end of the number. And you put the T there, and then you have JPEG, or I think PNGs also work. But for the most part, you have to have the number and T, and then dot whatever it is afterwards. The same applies for the large image, except with a couple of differences. The large image can be a width of 400. This part, again, the height does not matter, but the width of a product has to be 400. You can't change from 400. It has to stay there. The other difference is instead of a T at the end of the 8-digit product number, you have to have an L. And that is it for the products. Now, for the category picture, it's a little different, but it's also quite the same. The product will have the category is the name of the category. We named our category example. You need to have the category the same, except instead of its ending number or ending letter being T or L like the previous one, it has to be C. And the example width has to be 75. You always want it to be 75. If you don't have it as 75, it won't work. Now, where to put it? This image is not correct, so you got to make sure you put it in the correct images folder. This images is not correct. You need to go to the product images inside of outer web and open up product images, and I will show you the ones that are already there. And all you need to do once you're in there is take your images that you created, drag them, and drop them in product images. And that is it. As you can see here, that's how these ones are. You have this picture right here. It has its name and T and its size. And it has a large version of that right here. Now, if you've done things correctly, you will be able to open this up, go to merchandise, and your pictures will show up just like that. And that's all it takes to put items on there.